Hi, it's Nathaniel Whiston here, and you join me once again for an episode of Writers of West Anglia, where today I'm on my way to Farndish. It's to the northeast of Wollaston, to the south of Irchester, and it's to the west of Wymington. It's in North Bedfordshire, and it's in West Anglia. Today's writer of West Anglia is a popular novelist from the mid-20th century. He was born in Rushden in Northamptonshire, and where we're going to today is actually on the border between Bedfordshire and Northamptonshire. His name is H.E. Bates, and his most famous works include The Two Sisters, Love for Lydia, My Uncle Silas, and The Darling Buds of May. Now, I haven't actually read any of his books. I have seen a couple of episodes of The Darling Buds of May, but it was a long time ago and I don't really remember it. But today we're going to find out a bit more about Bates, and we're going to go to Farndish, which is the village which inspired him to write his first novel. There's a fly in the car, and I can't do this with a fly in the car. Open the window, but it's not going out. Got it. Right, where was I? Seatbelt. The woman at the job centre, she means well, but the way she looks at me, it's like she doesn't believe a word I say. I tell her I'm looking on the internet, I'm looking in the paper, I'm asking friends, I'm doing everything I can to look for a job, and yet she's just got this tone about her which suggests she doesn't believe a word I say. My life ain't no holiday. I'm really looking forward to hearing all about Morocco, Jeremy. Can't wait. You can tell me all about Morocco, Jeremy, and I will tell you all about Farndish. We can compare the two. I imagine Morocco very hot, dusty, markets, people wearing fezzes. Farndish, who knows, could be the same. Never been before. It's just as unknown to me as Marrakesh was to you, and yet you've paid all that money and travelled all that way to get there, and I'm only driving for a bit to get here. So which one of us is the cleverer one? Think about it, Jeremy. Bates was a prolific novelist, churning out book after book for many years. His depiction of rural life spoke to people. They understood it, they admired it. And some of the area we're going to see today is exactly what inspired Bates to put pen to paper. Is this my turning? Yes, it is. Nearly missed that then. A428. Yes. Yes, this is right. Where was I? Bates was a prolific writer, churning out. Jeremy, we'll catch up when you get back from Morocco. There's been a few things been going on. Namely, I've had to move out of my flat and go into a house share with three of the worst humans I've ever met in my life. The rent just became too much on the flat. I've got my redundancy money, but it's quickly going on things, namely petrol, and I had to make sacrifices, and my flat was a sacrifice, and a house share I thought wouldn't be that bad. I was wrong, but this is the situation that I'm in, Jeremy. This is my life right now. Real country roads now, surrounded left, right, front and back by fields. Okay, I'm going to park here. It's not really ideal, but it'll have to do. Right, we're here, we're in Farndish. Bates liked to go on midnight walks, and it was on one of those walks from Rushden to Farndish which inspired him to write his first novel. He spotted a candlelight flickering through a cottage window, and it sparked his imagination off. He went home and he wrote The Two Sisters, a book about two sisters who fall in love with the same mysterious stranger. It went on to be a great success, was his first published novel, and from then on his career blossomed. I'm no stranger to midnight walks myself recently. One of my new housemates decides every Friday and Saturday night that it would be a good idea to bring home everyone he's met in the pub to join in for more drinks, play music and generally have a laugh. Loudly. Till 3 or 4 AM. So I tend to just slip out about 11:30 when I know they're coming, just have a stroll around. I wonder if that's why Bates went on his midnight walks too. Idiot housemates. Interestingly, Bates wrote his first novel while he was still working as a warehouse clerk. So he'd come home after a hard day's work and sit down at his desk and start writing. So what was his hobby, something he did in his free time, actually became his full-time career. I wonder if he had any support from his friends. I wonder if they ever offered to edit, proofread his work and actually make it better, make it seem more professional, take out any mistakes or errors and actually improve it. It'd be really nice to have a friend like that, wouldn't it? The church here right in the middle of Farndish, but I doubt if Bates ever came in there if he only walks around here at midnight. Don't think it would have been open. Maybe Christmas Eve it would have been, but apart from that, would have been firmly shut. I have thought about doing presenting full time. Shows like this, historical programmes, travel programmes, documentaries. I think I could do them. I think I'd be really good at investigative journalism, knocking on people's doors, chasing them when they go in their cars and then stopping them from shutting the car doors by standing there and just repeating the same question, shoving a camera in their face. Yeah, I think I'd be quite good at that. I told them at the job centre that I'd be interested in doing this all the time, but they don't take me seriously. I've sent them links, YouTube links to my videos, but I don't think they watch them. Bates's world was a pastoral one. Verdant green bushes, birds tweeting overhead, muddy paths where horses stood. This is the world he inhabited, and the stories he wrote about were here. Bates's most famous work is arguably The Darling Buds of May, helped by the success of the long-running TV show. However, I can't talk about it today because Bates decided to set it in Kent. Kent, not West Anglia. He could have said it here. Look, it's all about a rural family, and I could have talked about it today, but he set it in Kent. Blooming Kent. The so-called Garden of England. Some of Bates' most popular work is his Uncle Silas stories, set in the countryside right here. Uncle Silas was a bucolic chap, used to get into all sorts of mischief and fun, a lovable rogue, a ne'er-do-well. In today's context, he'd be the kind of guy who'd stand next to you at a fruit machine telling you when to nudge. But you wouldn't mind him because he'd have a certain twinkle in his eye. Sometimes I think about another job. Should I go back to what I used to do, sitting by a desk all day? Then I come out here and this seems like a good option. Out in the fields, working, toiling, pulling a plough or something like that. I don't know. I guess I just don't know really. We should consider ourselves very lucky that Bates lived around here and chose to set his Uncle Silas character in these surroundings. If he was from another Bedfordshire town, let's take Luton as an example, I'm sure the stories would be very different. And I'm not sure tales about being kicked out of the Arndale Centre and getting into fights outside pubs would be as heartwarming as the Uncle Silas stories are. I'm currently on the route of one of Bates's midnight walks, and it's very atmospheric, as you can see here. If you can imagine this scene in the early hours of the morning in 1920s England, 1920s West Anglia. Right, I've got a bit here, Jeremy. It's like a visual metaphor, okay? I'm standing here, the wind blowing this tree. It's like a weeping willow, but I don't think it's called that. And Bates was blown by the wind, and he followed the wind to Farndish to write his first novel, which then led him on to write all his other stuff. And the wind has led me here today to make this short film about Bates. And the wind just guides you in life wherever you go. The wind is always behind you, pushing you and blowing you, and that's true here as the wind blows this tree behind me, and the tree doesn't fight it, it just goes with it, and it just goes this way and that, and that's what we do in life. That's what Bates did, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what this tree's doing. In 1931, Bates got married to his childhood sweetheart. They lived just a road apart over in Rushton, but they lived their married life together down in Kent, where he felt so inspired to write The Darling Buds of May. Should have stayed here. There's plenty to inspire you here. I mean, he got a few books out of him, he could have done a few more here, and maybe there'd be a sign here or a statue or something, so that we'd know Bates actually spent some time here. Jeremy, I know you'll be in holiday mode still, and you probably won't be in the right mood to sit down and edit a video of me wandering around the North Bedfordshire countryside. But if you can try and capture the feel of what I was going for here, that would be good. I hope you've had a good trip in Morocco, Marrakesh, wherever it was you went. Hope you didn't get sunburnt. I can guarantee if you'd stayed here you wouldn't have got sunburnt. Now I've got to go home. Not home, not a place I want to call home. I've got to go back to a house with my housemates. That was Farndish, and that was the village that first inspired H.E. Bates to start writing and begin a very successful writing career. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you felt inspired too. Maybe it's inspired you to write a book like Bates, who knows. It certainly inspired me to do something productive, I don't know what, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I will see you again very soon. I'm Nathaniel Whiston, and this was Writers of West Anglia. Goodbye.